Pacquiao was not able to make history. Barrios retains his belt.
That was the most surprising thing for me, seeing how fast Pacquiao was at the ripe age of 47. Where's Mayweather at?
He came in talking about he's going to retire him, but I saw no urgency from Barrios.
Barrios got lucky, man.
To me, in my scorecards, I thought he had won it.
Barrios was being a little too nice. He didn't want to hurt his GOAT, his icon. We've been saying it. He's the weakest champion.
No allegations, just straight ass.
We need to unify this division because Barrios needs to get the fuck out of there, bro, because he is not a championship-worthy type of fighter.
Right now, Usyk is undisputed once again. 3-time undisputed champion. Now, this was a absolute mismatch.
He was setting up these traps, these counter left hands, and Dubois was just taking it on the chin.
That's definitely going to be a highlight reel for the rest of this year.
And no doubt about it, Usyk is one of the greatest fighters of all time and is the #1 pound-for-pound champion in the world. Welcome back to another episode of the Last Round Podcast, where we cover everything from traditional boxing to influencer boxing and everything in between. Today's episode, we'll be going over Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrios' controversial draw, as well as Usyk's KO win over Daniel Dubois, and also mentioning Bam Rodriguez and his TKO victory over Cafu. But before we get into the episode, make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all forms of social media. Lastly, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. And now, diving into the episode, we had the return of the Pac-Man, the pride of the Philippines, return to take on the WBC welterweight champ in Mario Barrios in the MGM Grand Arena. Now, this fight was a lot of controversy, and more so before the fight was Pacquiao coming out of retirement, getting this title shot, his age being a question, a big factor, and a lot of the odds coming in. Pacquiao was the underdog, but he performed fantastically well, man, for his age. I was very surprised and impressed. What are you guys' thoughts about the Pacquiao return this past weekend?
Yeah, man, the whole world doubted him. Shit, you guys doubted him. I'm the only one that stuck by my GOAT. I knew Manny Pacquiao had it in him. Listen, we talked about this multiple episodes, that in the 147 division, Mario Barrios was the weakest champion. And there's a lot of factors that go into it. Some people were saying Barrios was being a little too nice. He didn't want to hurt his GOAT, his icon. I don't think it was that. I think Mario Barrios did his best that he could. He's not a guy that throws a lot of punches. He's more of a counter puncher. But Pacquiao used his speed, which that was the most surprising thing for me, seeing how fast Pacquiao was at the ripe age of 47. I mean, he looked 46. He looked faster than his last fight when he fought Ugas, and that was 3-4 years ago. So I think I was very impressed by Pacquiao, honestly. At the age of 46, being able to fight to a draw against a world champion. I mean, that's very impressive.
Yeah, for me, I think that was the biggest thing. I just assumed that, his last performance, when he fought against Ugas many years ago, it wasn't the best. I think his age was showing very much so in that fight. So I figured it wasn't going to be any different coming, to Saturday night. But, he did surprise me. He looked way better than when he fought Ugas. And I wouldn't say he looked sharper, but the stamina was pretty good up until the last 3 rounds, up until the championship rounds. Then you started to see a little bit of the age kind of hitting Pacquiao. But in regards to that, I feel like he did a really good job. To me, in my scorecards, I thought he had won it. I figured that he pulled it off by 1 or 2 rounds. But I'm not completely mad. In regards with Pacquiao and his performance and whatnot. What I am mad, it's with my fellow Texan, Barrios. Garbage. The performance was so bad. You mentioned the fact that there was people saying that he was maybe being a little bit hesitant, didn't want to, KO the GOAT or whatever. I just felt like he just couldn't perform. I just felt like he couldn't pull the trigger. And I to be honest, man, I feel like if it would have been any of the other champions, they would have beaten Pacquiao. But Barrios is just not on that level, and unfortunately, fortunately for him, he got very lucky.
Well, the nerves could have gotten to him. This is a huge event. How would you feel if you were on the other side of the ring? Was Manny Pacquiao? Who cares? He's 46 years old. Shit, Barrios grew up watching that man. So listen, it could have been a heat of the moment. Maybe Barrios didn't perform his 100%, but I think obviously it was from Pacquiao's camp. They specifically targeted Mario Barrios, and it paid off. People said he was too old to come back after that Ugas fight, after all this retirement. No, there's no way we're going to see a good Manny Pacquiao. Well, he proved them all wrong. He fantastic performance from Pacquiao.
Regarding the scorecards, we had 2 judges score at 114, and we had 1 judge score at 113 in favor for Barrios. You mentioned that you had Pacquiao up. You thought he had won after the fight by a round or 2. I personally had Barrios win the fight by 1 round. I thought the last round was crucial for both of them, but I wasn't. There was a couple of swing rounds in there. How about you, Asa? How'd you have the fight after the final 12th round ended?
Listen, I'm not mad about the scorecards. I think it's a very it's understandable. A draw. I feel like it kind of blue balls all the boxing fans because, nothing really happens. Barrios retains his title. Pacquiao doesn't get the belt, despite a great effort. But the fight was close. There was a lot of swing rounds. There was a lot of moments where, maybe Pacquiao would win the first minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then Barrios would come back and win the last minute. So, it really just depends on what each boxing fan or each judge likes or scores more in the fight. But honestly, even though it's not very popular, I think a draw was a very fair decision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. Something that I want to bring up was the fact that they were fighting at the MGM Grand. I believe there was over 13,000 people there, and I feel like a lot of people were there for Manny Pacquiao. I still feel like it kind of surprised me a little bit because I just assumed that he wasn't going to have that popularity, but I was gravely mistaken.
Rudo, we're talking about the GOAT. I'll say it. He's my GOAT. I don't care. He's my number one. Not only my favorite fighter, I think he's the greatest of all time. I watching him rise up the rankings, doing what he's doing now at 46. Where's Mayweather at? Where's all his other generation? He's the only one that's still in the boxing game. That's why he's my GOAT.
Look, so last week I gave my prediction, Barrios by KO stoppage. Yeah, what a shitty prediction. What a shitty pick. But the fact that I think that surprised me. Like, I'm still very much in shock by the way Pacquiao performed. At 46, halfway through the fight, I kind of realized, like, maybe between rounds 4 and 6, I was like, yeah, I don't think Barrios is going to take it. I don't think Barrios has the ability to stop Pacquiao. Pacquiao was doing pretty good. He won the first round, which kind of surprised me a little bit. And so he was able to keep up with the pace. And, at the end, the punch stats were very much similar. Mm-hmm. And so, between 4 and 6, I was like, yeah, my pick is not going to happen. Barrios is not going to stop him. But, Pacquiao performed really good. Really good. That really surprised me a lot. And I was halfway through, I was kind of switching. I switched. I was like, hopefully Pacquiao wins so he can make history once again. Being champion in 4 different decades, that would be once in a lifetime. Like, no other fighter has done it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. He was a champion in the 90s, 2000s, 2010, and then 2020.
Well, I think he does have that when he beat Keith Thurman. I think that was either 2020 or 2021.
Oh, okay.
That was 2019.
So 2019?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So,
But I mean, let's talk more about the fight. Pacquiao won the first round. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, wow, look at that, Pacquiao," because the pace he was bringing in that first round. My thoughts after the first round was, okay, Pacquiao is going to be very strong early on, but because of age, Barrios will be able to come back and start to dominate. But I feel like maybe the last couple 3 rounds, championship rounds, were in Barrios' favor, but majority of the middle rounds were very well contested by Pacquiao, and I felt like Barrio was not, had no sense of urgency. Like, he was kind of letting Pacquiao dictate the pace, dictate the rhythm, and he was the one trying to solve or decipher the Pacquiao puzzle. And I think that's what really cost it. Like you mentioned earlier, people were out there accusing Barrios of quote unquote going easy on Pacquiao, pulling his punches. Some people were even saying, it looked a little sus. The fight, and I can see it too, but I feel like Barrios was a bit too respectful for Pacquiao in certain moments, and I think that's what really costed him the fight. Like if you look at Ugas, the way that Ugas fought Pacquiao, I mean Ugas, respectful. He respected Pacquiao, but he showed him no respect in there, and he was able to handle Pacquiao and was able to beat him back in 2021. Of course, Team Pacquiao came out and said that Pacquiao had like cramps in his legs. That's why he didn't perform well against Ugas. But I think that the way that Ugas came into the fight was more as trying to win, where I feel like Barrios kind of went into, I don't know. He came in talking about he's going to retire him, but I saw no urgency from Barrios during fight day or during the fight. So it was a bit weird or awkward I just didn't know what to make up of Barrios' performance.
Well, I mean, I feel like the styles are just like completely different. Like if you look at Barrios' past fights, that's what he does. He's not a active fighter. He doesn't throw a lot of punches. He's not a high volume. He usually doesn't really go forward. He more naturally, he's a counter puncher. He waits for his opponent to overextend and then he counters them. Whereas Ugas, he has a high guard. He's real tight, and he pushes you forward, and he continuously goes forward. Throws a lot of pity pad shots, and I think that's what really costed. That was really hard for Pacquiao to decipher, especially with Ugas. But with this fight, it was so much better for Pacquiao because he was able to set the pace. Barrios wasn't really contesting with the pace. He was fine if it went higher or if it went lower. He was letting Pacquiao do it all. So I think it was a lot easier for Pacquiao to once he wants to step it up, he'll step it up. And then if he wants to step it back, he's not going to get punished because Barrios isn't going to, take it to him. But I think that's just because of his style, not necessarily because he was being respectful or he didn't want to hurt him. Shit, I'm sure he wanted to. If he knocks out Pacquiao, that'd be the biggest moment of his career. That's a highlight reel. You're showing that to your kids and your grandchildren. You think he don't want that in his resume? Of course he wanted that, but he just doesn't have the skills necessary to do that.
Well, for me, look, styles do make fights. I think Ugas had a very much completely different style than what Barrios has, and it gave Manny Pacquiao a lot of complications. But in regards to Barrios, I didn't feel like he wanted to take it. It looked like to me he was kind of like just trying to cruise to a decision. Like that's it. He was just trying to cruise, and then if Manny Pacquiao rose up the intensity, then he was going to rise up to that as well. But like he never did anything to change the rhythm of the fight, to set his own pace. He didn't, like, one round, he didn't just try to come out all aggressive and see what happens. Like he didn't try to do anything. He was just going with the flow, and so fortunately for him, he got a draw. But like I didn't think he won. So yeah, lucky for him, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So a lot of people are out there bashing Mario Barrios. I saw your Tank get shots taken at him. People were saying, "Yo, this is the guy who is considered one of Tank's best names in his resume." Like, and then the the post of Barrios saying like, "Oh, no allegations, no nothing, just straight ass." Like, people are out there cooking Mario Barrios on X, and I mean, is it warranted? Is it deserved?
Well, I mean, the funny thing is, like,
It's true.
Okay, so listen, you know what? Barrios is kind of in the position of like a George Kambosos. He has a good name, and he's a world champion. He was a world champion. So I mean, that's the top of the sport right there. Yet his skills don't necessarily reflect that. There's a lot of holes. Well, I mean, we're saying it. We've been saying it. He's the weakest champion. Kambosos was always the weakest champion at 135 or 140, wherever the hell he was. I mean. So I feel like it kind of reminds me of that situation where Barrios, like, he is a world champion. So on paper, it's a good name. But like, if you look at him fight and you see his past two performances, he's coming off of 2 draws, that's not good. If you look at his actual skills, then you might be like, okay, it was not a good opponent pick for Tank. But on paper, on a resume, it actually does look pretty nice.
Look, I feel like there are similarities between, Kambosos and Barrios in that aspect. They were champions, but they were also the weakest champion within the respective weight class. But the difference between the two of them is that Kambosos actually took the belts from the undisputed champion at that time, which was Lopez. Barrios was just given the belt. He was just sent an email saying, "Congratulations, you're the champion now." Like, what? There's no way. I think... Who was the champion before? Who was the WBC champion before Mario Barrios? Crawford.
Shit, it's not his fault Crawford wanted to go up to 154. You know what I'm saying? I mean, but if Crawford would have stayed there, I mean, of course, Barrios would have never touched the world title.
Yeah.
So, it's just luck. It's just being there at the right time. With Kambosos, he was lucky that Teofimo Lopez was dying. I don't know. Teofimo, he just keeps going on that narrative. He was saying, "You didn't beat me. I beat myself." What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. But so listen, yeah, I think Barrios got lucky, man. But he's still a world champion. Two draws in a row. He retains the belt. Going forward, he's still gonna be a world champion. So I mean, I don't know, man. It's a bit weird too. I don't know. Barrios is in a weird position. I don't know where
he's not in
he
a
goes
weird
from
position.
here.
He's in a very lucky position. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I really don't know where he goes from here. But we need to unify this division because Barrios needs to get the fuck out of there, bro. Because he is not a championship worthy type of fighter. And I think there's other people that would for sure fill that position, fill that role better than him.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. So next up for Barrios, people were saying, "Oh, maybe Rolly, maybe getting Brian Norman." I mean, but I think that would be a massacre. And also, Norman has Devin Haney coming up next. So there's more questions on Mario Barrios. People are out there bashing him, like I said. So we'll see what he does next. But in terms of Pacquiao stated after the fight during the post-fight press conference that he was still interested in fighting. Barrios welcomed the rematch for him to share the ring once again with him. But Pacquiao has shown interest in continuing fighting at 46. He's going to turn 47 later this year. So, I mean, what do you guys want to see from Pacquiao? Do you guys want to see him fight? Do you guys want to see him go back into retirement? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, in regards to, look, I don't want to see this rematch. But, I mean, if they are able to make that rematch happen, well, then, Pacquiao, he's a legend, and if he wants to continue to pursue that and become a champion in 4 different decades, so be it. But apart from that, I don't want to see him fight. Like, he looked very good against a very mid-level type of a fighter. Like, there was instances where the age did show where, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the best. And then also the stamina as well. Like the last 3 rounds, he definitely let go of the gas a little bit, quite a bit. And so, yeah, man, I really don't want to see Pacquiao fight anymore. I think, Father Time is undefeated. I think this past weekend, he should have been a champion, but, it didn't happen like that. It didn't happen that way. So I think it's best to just leave it and just pursue other things.
Well, I mean, I agree. I don't think he should. But, I mean, if he's hell-bent on staying in boxing, at least for one more fight, give him the rematch, okay? Because there's really nothing else that makes any sense. He's not going to go against any of the other champions because it would not go good. So, Barrios is the weakest champion. And there's no other reason to be fighting. He doesn't need the money. So the only thing he needs is like legacy. So he needs a belt. He has to fight for a belt at least. And so I mean it has to be that rematch. And it's his best shot at getting another accolade or accomplishment in his already legendary resume. So I think that would be the best course of action. But like, just go back to the Philippines and be a senator like you were, bro. You don't have to keep on fighting. It's not necessary.
There's a lot of questions about Pacquiao. I saw a lot of people actually want to see him retire instead of pursuing another fight. But Pacquiao, I mean, he probably stay retired for a year and then come back when he's like 48. So, I mean, the dude just loves to fight. But, Pacquiao was given the draw, was not able to make history. Barrios retains his belt. A lot of big names were there at the event. We had Conor Benn there. We had Subriel Matias and Teofimo beefing. I don't know if you guys saw the clip of Matias bitch slapping Delfimo. They're at the arena.
No, I didn't see that. I did see that there was some type of an interaction. There was a verbal interaction that they had, and they had to get separated. But I didn't see that.
Yeah. So other big names were there to watch the return of Pacquiao, and I mean Barrios said that it's the biggest event he's taken part in. So hey, if he knows that another fight with a rematch with Pacquiao is going to guarantee him more money, I mean, I think that's the best course of action for Barrios, if anything. So it's he's in a very lucky, very good place right now in his career. But going down to the co-main event, we had the anticipated rematch between Tim Tszyu as he took on Sebastian Fundora at the 154 for Sebastian Fundora's WBC belt. And this fight was a heartbreaker for a lot of Tim Tszyu fans, especially the ones I'm looking at right here. Thoughts about Tim Tszyu's loss against Sebastian Fundora?
Yeah, for me, yeah, man, I think it was very painful. I think I was kind of surprised. I thought after the first knockdown in the first round, I just thought that Fundora was actually going to stop Tim, because it was a hard knockdown. And then I feel like maybe if Fundora wanted to raise up the intensity in that moment, I think he could have maybe gotten another knockdown or possibly even the stoppage. But yeah, man, it was not good. After that, and then the second round, and then the third round, I was like, yeah, this fight is not going to go the distance. Fundora, he's on his A game. He's dominating. He's controlling. He's doing whatever he wants, whatever he pleases. And then Tim Tszyu was just there, just kind of surviving. You know, he did have some moments. He was able to crack the nose of Fundora, you know, made him bleed or whatever. But you know, there was just a few moments here and there, not enough to win any round in my scorecard. Very sad. Yeah, in regards to Tim, I think he hasn't been the same fighter since I was gonna say Mortazalia fight, but I think realistically, I think after that Fundora fight, the first time, I don't think he's been the same. Yeah, he just has not been the same. I think that loss affected him, and then right away he fights for another world title against a very dangerous opponent in Mortazalia, and then after that, I think, yeah, Tim is just damaged goods at this point in his career.
Every time he goes forward and opens up, he gets fucking caught, bro. It was like the same thing in that Mortazalia fight. Like, Tszyu was in the middle of throwing, and he gets caught by a fucking left hand from Fundora. Like, and he just drops him. Yeah, I agree. After that first round, after the first knockdown, I knew fight's not going the distance. Tszyu, it's over for Tszyu. So, listen, he's a warrior at heart. Old school throwback fighter, so he was staying in there even though he was taking some heavy punishment, and he started getting success, which is the funny thing is, like, the last 2-3 rounds he started actually finally connecting his punches, because in the first 4 rounds he was punching at air, you know, like he could not find Fundora's head. Finally he starts landing something. But Fundora, I mean, listen, he's got a chin on him, man. He got caught with a couple of clean, hard punches that moved his head, and he just continued to bulldoze forward. Ultimately, it discouraged Tszyu, and the 7th round, you know, the corner was like, yeah, no more. And look, I agree. You know, he was taking way too much punishment. He was gambling his health just to get a puncher's chance, and that's never okay. I think, Tszyu's already taken a good amount of punishment, so I think it was the right decision. You know, he didn't have anything more to do to be in the ring, and it was a classy act. You know, in the post-fight interview, he said, you know, all the best for Fundora. He was just a better guy, and I think that's what it was. Fundora was just the better guy that night.
Yes, you know, Tim Tszyu, this fight, I mean, I'm the only one who predicted Fundora to beat him, and it just really came based on where they're at right now. I mean, did Tim Tszyu and his team not see Fundora beat the shit out of Booker in his last fight, the way he dominated him? I mean, how do you go from Mortazaliev to Joey Spencer and then go right back to Fundora? Like, that's not the course of action, and that's why I picked Fundora, because I was saying, my train of thought was, you know, I want to see Tim Tszyu fight a bit more and then get a shot at Fundora later on, or another champion. You know, get his confidence back. And, you know, because Joey Spencer is nowhere near the elite status at all. So keep fighting, build yourself up, and then go right back at it. But no, immediately after Joey Spencer takes on Fundora, who's coming off of hot form, I'm like, dude, there's no way he's gonna beat Fundora at this time. And I mean, look what happened. He dropped him first round, whooped his ass, and the thing is, it wasn't even the corner. Tim Tszyu himself said no, he didn't want to come out. So Tim Tszyu was the one who decided to end the fight there and not come out. And it was very because I like Tim Tszyu as a fighter, and so it was a bit heartbreaking to see him do that. But I mean, it shows how good of a fighter Fundora is. I mean, he's gonna be a very tough guy to beat. He looks somewhat unbeatable. I mean, there are some flaws in his game, but when he gets the jab and he uses his actual physical attributes instead of swarming you and trying to fight in the pocket, I mean, he seems downright unbeatable. So I saw a lot of people want to get unifications. Murtazaliev. We had people like who else do we got? I think Murtazaliev was the big one that they're trying to pin him up against, and I think that'd be a good fight, man.
Bro, the thing is, it's just not fair, man. Fundora's 6'6", dude. Like, what the hell is he doing at 154? Like, get your
skinny ass.
Yeah, eat some food. Go up to a higher weight class where you belong instead of trying to prey on these guys that are 5'9", 5'10". Like, come on, bro. It's completely uncalled for. I think, because listen, Fundora. Obviously, he's coming off great performances, but he definitely has flaws. He just doesn't get them punished very often because because of his physical attributes. But I think skill for skill, I think Murtazaliev's better. I think Virgil Ortiz is better. I think there's a lot of guys at 154 that have better skills than Fundora. It's going to be so difficult to beat him because of how physical he is, man. He's a tough guy to beat. So. He's looking good right now. He should definitely be given the credit that he deserves. I think he's a unified champion at 154. So, I mean, he's a top guy. He's standing at the top. I'm not sure who he wants next, but they better, get some sparring partners in there that are 6'6", so they can, get used to the reach.
Yeah, I think for me, funny enough, I think skill-wise, I think there are some things that he does lack in, but I feel like in this fight, granted, it was a rematch, so I think, they did come in with a game plan, and it was pretty much a really good game plan. I think it was just trying to keep Tim kind of like at a distance, like you said it before, Pablo. He was using his reach a little bit more in this fight, and I think, it was really good. He was only able to get clipped with just the right hands, and he was actually able to see them from a distance. But I think hopefully from now on, I think we're gonna see a little bit more, what would you call it, like skills or a little bit more of a finesse in his style. I think he's going to be a little bit more smarter now, especially like for me at 154, he's definitely the top dog, right? Yeah, he's I think he's the only unified champion.
He's not. There's no unified champion.
He doesn't have two belts.
No, he only has a WBC.
Okay.
WBO is vacant, and WBA is Crawford, and IBF is Murtazaliev.
Well, I mean, to me, I think he's the top dog. I think being at that weight class and being that tall, I think there's going to be, of course, there's going to be some disadvantages. But I think overall, I think there's all of the advantage, goes for him. And I think any of these other guys, I don't know about Crawford, but, Virgil Ortiz, Murtazaliev fighting Fundora, that would be such a hard fight for them. Fundora is just a guy who, he does have some flaws, but there's also some things where it could be considered flaws, but I mean, it makes he's able to make it work. Like throwing the uppercut from a mid to long range. He's actually able to knock guys out and even connect really good shots with the uppercut from that far away. Mm-hmm. So I think that is just like another added element to how difficult it would be to beat a guy like Fundora.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, regarding his next fight, I mean, we have, I think, this upcoming weekend, Xander Zayas taking on Jorge Garcia Perez for the vacant WBO.
Fundora got stripped of that belt, didn't he?
He must have.
Because I think, if I remember correctly, when he persisted with the rematch with Tszyu, I think they stripped him because I'm pretty sure he was the unified champ at 154.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because Xander was the mandatory, and he pursued the rematch, so they took it away from him, and now Xander is fighting for the vacant. But I mean, they were kind of teasing Xander against Fundora, which would be an ass whooping for generations. I mean, Fundora would put a beating on him. But I mean, I'm predicting Zayas to win the belt and maybe pursue unification. I mean, I don't know how much so they're or how eager they are now after seeing how Fundora did Tim Tszyu. But I mean, he's going to be champion. Unification is going to be there. So, and they've been teasing it a bit, having little face-offs and whatnot between him and Fundora. So maybe Fundora might be looking at that. Who knows? At this point, 154 is stacked. You got Mono Ramos, Serhii Bohachuk, Madrimov. You know, you got Erickson Lubin as well in there. But so, you know, you got big names, and it's a very stacked and the best division in boxing right now. So Fundora, for being in a very strong division, to be called the best fighter in that division it's a high accolade, and you know, it's one that I think it's well deserved for Fundora at this moment in time. But Tim Tszyu took the L, got stopped, refused to come out, and Fundora was able to retain his WBC 154 championship belt this past weekend in the co-main event. Now going down, we had the return of Pitbull Cruz at the 140, where he was going to take on Angel Fierro in the rematch, but Fierro, being too fat, couldn't make weight in a very healthy way, so Robert Garcia and his team decided to pull him out and send him to the hospital, where we saw Salcido be upgraded and got the chance to take on Pitbull Cruz in what I consider a huge mismatch. I don't know if you guys want to talk really deeply about it, but I mean, it was like a 10-0 type of fight. It was a very easy work for Pitbull, and you know, he moves on to better things.
Exactly. I mean, it was just a stepping stone. I think it was a one-day notice new opponent, right? So, like, you know, you can't really give that much. Can't expect too much from Salcido. But, you know, he went in there. He showed his heart. You know, he took some heavy-ass shots. And now Pitbull Cruz, I believe, is the interim WBC champion. If not, he's like number 1 or something like that. And who's the champion of the WBC?
Matias.
So, looks like in the near future, we're going to be getting Pitbull Cruz versus Subriel Matias. And I'm liking Pitbull Cruz's chances. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But, yeah, in regards to his performance, he kind of looked... Cruz, he stated, even before the weigh-ins, after the weigh-ins, and just throughout the whole Friday and Saturday fiasco, he was mad that Fierro had to pull out. So he was really mad, and I think he took his anger out on his opponent. Mm-hmm. So... Unfortunately for his opponent, but yeah, in regards to Pitbull Cruz, you know, he has bigger and better things now. I think, yeah, when he lost against Valenzuela, I think a lot of people were like, "Ooh, maybe he's not that good." But you know, Pitbull Cruz, you know, he's a dog, he's a warrior, and now he's kind of back in the mix of things and possibly fighting for another world championship belt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw a lot of people were very happy about a potential matchup between Pitbull Cruz and Subriel Matias, which would be an all-out carnage based on their styles. I mean, we not too long ago, Matias was able to beat oh my gosh, what his name? El Puello, Alberto Puello, in a slugfest. So I mean, Subriel Matias is always there to give action, same as Pitbull Cruz. So imagine seeing that matchup. It'd be a boxing fan's dream fight. But you know, Pitbull got the easy UD win over Salcido in the interim WBC at the 140. So we'll see what Pitbull and his team decide to do for the future at that division. But besides that, those were the 3 fights we wanted to talk about for the Pacquiao-Barrios undercard. Let us know what you guys thought about that card. We thought, you know, overall, I'd give it a good solid 7 out of 10. I think the best fight was the Fundora and Tim Tszyu. That one had more. For me, it brought something more out of me. The Pacquiao one was good too, but something about the Tim Tszyu and Fundora one had me, you know, had hurt me in a different type of way. But moving on to the UK, aka Usyk's second home. He returned to take on Daniel Dubois for undisputed. And let's say that this was perhaps one of my favorite Usyk performances of all time. Now, this was a absolute mismatch. And that's saying something because this version of Daniel Dubois that showed up was a lot better than the first version that appeared in the first fight back in 2023. So to see what Usyk did to Daniel Dubois there in the UK and the way he dismantled him, it was mastery, and I was very impressed, and no doubt about it, Usyk is one of the greatest fighters of all time and is no doubt the number one pound-for-pound champion in the world. Thoughts about the fight?
I think that's the most important thing. Number one pound for pound. I'm tired of seeing people put Terrence Crawford up there still after all this time from that Spence fight. It's over. It's been years, guys. Let's move on and let's acknowledge that Usyk right now is the king in the pound-for-pound rankings. He just demolished Dubois. And even I wasn't expecting this. I thought Usyk was going to win, but, like, it wasn't even close. It wasn't competitive. Usyk was so much more aggressive than he was in the first fight. Like, immediately on the front foot, landing that left hand, and from the first round. And I think Dubois, he could feel it immediately. He could tell he was overreaching. He was overreaching, and he wasn't even going for the body either. It seemed he didn't have any game plan. It seemed he was just in there like just to fight, just to try to land something big, try to rely on his power. But Usyk's too smart for that, and something like that isn't gonna work on him. Knocked him out. It was a great shot. That's definitely going to be a highlight reel for the rest of this year. So, it was a good day.
Yeah, it was a good day. Look, so I low-key, well, I guess my heart wanted Daniel to win, but my money was definitely on Usyk. One thing that I forgot to even mention even last week was the fact that every time that Usyk gets into a rematch with an opponent that he has fought, AJ, Tyson Fury, it almost seems as though he does an even better job the second time around. And so it wasn't until before the first bell rung, I was like, oh wow, okay, so I'm expecting Usyk to be Usyk, but I'm expecting a little better version of him. And I feel like like what you said, the left hands, he was setting up these traps, these counter left hands, and Dubois was just taking it on the chin. And I knew he wasn't going to be able to take many left hands like that. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, Usyk just showed his ring IQ. He didn't really, break a sweat almost. He didn't really, take too much punishment, if not any punishment at all from Daniel. So, yeah, in regards to that, I said it again. It's really hard to bet against the GOAT. And, yeah, like we said, for me, yeah, Usyk is definitely the number one pound-for-pound guy on the list. Mm-hmm. And for sure on the Mount Rushmore of boxing, heavyweight boxing. Definitely he's up there. One of the four for sure up there.
Yeah, he's definitely showing the levels. I mean, there's really he's cleared out pretty much the division. I mean, the only other fight I would like to see him in would be against Joseph Parker. And Joseph Parker is the interim for the WBO heavyweight. So, I mean, that's a matchup that he potentially could get in the future. Or maybe even next, but it all depends on what Usyk does. Regardless, this version of Usyk was destructive. I mean, I thought Dubois was gonna show up. I don't even know. Dubois showed a great improvement from the first fight, so I can't even fault him at that. He was just not at that level. It was a mismatch at the highest level, and that's a crazy thing to see or to even say. And it really shows the quality in Oleksandr Usyk. I saw a lot of people after the fight, obviously praising Usyk, this and that. And I saw someone tweet out saying that Top Rank had gotten the wrong Ukrainian, more so in the aspect of Usyk and Lomachenko, claiming that, maybe Top Rank should have invested in Usyk rather than Lomachenko. Now, I thought that was a pretty disrespectful thing to say about Lomachenko. But what are you guys' thoughts about that?
I think that's disrespectful, and I think it's wrong. I mean, I feel like Loma was a bigger star earlier. Maybe in the long game. Now Usyk is, having all the glory right now. But, I mean, at cruiserweight, no one really gets that much fame and glory. He obviously, boxing fans, we obviously knew he went undisputed. He won the World Series or whatever it's called, that big tournament. He won it. He's a very phenomenal fighter. But the real he didn't penetrate into casual boxing fans, into actual worldwide status until after he went into heavyweight and started beating the shit out of all these guys. Whereas Loma, he's been since his second fight against Salcido. Salido. They've been always on him. They've been, promoting his fights like crazy. Yeah, so I think, early on, Loma was definitely the bigger star. But just like that old adage goes, in heavyweight boxing, 38 ain't old, But when you're at 135, 38 is very old. So I don't know. I think that's a stupid take, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, look, if we want to look at it from the aspect of a business, Top Rank, they definitely got their money's worth either way with Lomachenko. Granted, maybe it could have been a little bit more if they would have gotten Usyk, but they would have definitely had to wait a little bit more because Usyk went on that phenomenal run at cruiserweight, but no one really cared like that. And even once he turned once he went up to a heavyweight, there was still a couple fights where he was fighting on undercards, he was fighting on random venues and stuff like that. So it still took him a while to actually be able to get the recognition that he actually deserved. So yeah, it wasn't until he started beating these fucking giants in the heavyweight division, and that's when people were like, "Yo, this guy who is 6'2", and he's able to not only beat their asses, but he's also able to knock them out. That's crazy. That's phenomenal, and he's actually being able to do it with the sweet science as well. So yeah, I mean, there's a reason why he won this past Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Regarding that statement or that hot take on Twitter or X, I mean. He also had fighters ducking Lomachenko. I mean, Gervonta Davis is another one. I mean, it's a known fact that when he was with teammate was there, I mean, him and his team refused to take on the Lomachenko matchup. So I mean, there's a bunch of factors as to maybe why the guy tweeted that out. But I was like, yeah, Top Rank. I mean, they got Lomachenko's a 3-division world champion as well. So I mean, Top Rank did good with Lomachenko. But yeah, Usyk though, he's showing. His levels right now, 38 years old. I mean, he's not old in any way here in the heavyweight division. So we'll see what he decides to do next, who he's fighting next. I mean, he did state a while ago, he's got, 3 more fights left in him. We already got 1 down. So, I mean, that I think that makes 2 left. So we'll see what Oleksandr Usyk decides to fight for his future. Maybe he'll come later this year. Maybe he'll come next year. I'm not sure.
Listen, I think there's only one name that truly stands out for Usyk's next opponent, and it makes the most sense. Obviously, it has to be Jake Paul. Mm-hmm. I mean, did you guys not see the face-off? Mm-hmm. I mean, they're building it up for the perfect timeline. Jake Paul's going to be the next... Okay, I'm sorry. That's just the stupidest. Listen, I don't know why the hell they faced off in the ring. Usyk is such a nice guy for allowing this, clown show, I swear.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's because, once Jake Paul does beat Anthony Joshua in their matchup later in the year, that's going to set up for for Jake Paul to get a shot at the undisputed title in Usyk. So, I mean... It's foreshadowing. Matchroom knows what they're doing, and I think that Jake Paul and MVP are well aware of the situation they find themselves in. I mean, Jake Paul does have the power to hurt, even stop Usyk. So I think this is a good matchup for later in the future for Oleksandr Usyk.
Well, how's that fight gonna be made? I thought Jake Paul was a cruiserweight.
No, he's heavyweight now. You remember he fought Mike?
He fought Mike at heavyweight. Come on, dude, now.
Yeah, and he's
like Usyk, bro. He can go cruiserweight. He can go heavyweight. Come on, it's the same fighter. Okay, let's just stop it because people are gonna think we're actually serious. But listen, I have no idea why they actually faced off in the ring. I think Usyk probably doesn't even know who he is, dude. I swear, Usyk barely speaks any fucking English. I could swear he does not know who Jake Paul is. They're probably telling him, "Hey, face off with this guy, and he was like, "Okay," and he just did a little face off. So,
bro was like, "I feel," and then just did the face off.
Exactly. It was completely stupid, but I mean, in all honesty, I think the next opponent. I mean, it's kind of it's unknown, honestly, because. Supposedly, Tyson Fury is coming out of retirement. Turkey said that he wants to make that fight with them. Also, Turkey tweeted out that he wants to see Usyk versus Moses Itauma, which Moses is he's like breaking contender. He's just not even I don't think he's top 5 in anything.
He is.
He is.
He is.
How the hell is he? How is this guy top 5?
He is number. Give me a second. Hold up. I gotta go.
And then another thing. I mean, Joseph Parker's there as well. He's the interim champ. So like, there's so much opportunity. And also Usyk, I think called out. Said Derek Chisora maybe as well. Like, there's so much fighters for Usyk to fight. You know, obviously everyone wants a shot at the king, but I think, you know, obviously the first thing he wants to do is go home and rest.
Mm-hmm. As he should. But regarding Moses, he is ranked top 10 in all 4 organizations, and he's ranked number 2 in the WBA and number 1 in the WBO. So he's up there, man. And I mean, but he has not done anything to get an opportunity to take on Usyk. I mean, I think it's an outright. It'd be a shame if he actually gets it. I mean, you wouldn't put any money on Itamwa beating Usyk, man. Actually, you know who I think would actually be the best matchup for Usyk? It's the dark horse Efe Ajagba. I think that's a good one. I mean, I think he's underrated, and he's shown that he can. His body work. I mean, he stopped Zhilei Zhang, the Big Bang, and he did it easily.
Efe Ajagba?
Yeah.
Isn't that's the wrong fighter? Efe Ajagba.
Oh yeah, no, you're talking. It's
Efe Ajagba was crowned as the next Deontay Wilder. No, you're talking about Kaival or something.
Oh yes, my bad. Yeah. I'm talking about Ajit Kabayel.
Kabayel, yeah.
Yes, my bad. Yeah, Kabayel. I think he's the guy to who could give Usyk I think a good work.
I think so. I think so too. I think you know, the body work that Caballel has. You know, he showed it in his last fight against Zhilei Zhang. He beat him towards the body, and then he beat him upstairs, and then ultimately, you know, the body fell short. And then we've seen before that Usyk does not like to get touched in the body, so I think he could give Usyk some problems there in that aspect. But I don't know. Caballel isn't that big of a fighter. I think, you know, Usyk, he's in a similar position as Canelo. Like, he's the one who calls the shots. Like, he doesn't care who he fights, just as long as the money is right.
Shit, and also, I mean, this was a while ago, but Usyk also teased of fighting like Alex Pereira in boxing. Yes, he was saying, like, they were talking about like how many fights into your retirement. He was saying yada yada yada. He was talking about like Alex Pereira. I was like, what do you? So Usyk is, you know, Usyk he's a character, right? You know, he's one of those guys that you can't really know what he's thinking. So
That's true.
I think you know, it all depends exactly what he wants to do. He's obviously going to go back to his team and see what makes sense, but I don't really want to see the trilogy with Tyson Fury. I think, I mean, we already had 2 fights with them. Fury retired for the 5th time or something. You know, he's back now. I feel like he retires every year, but I don't know. I feel like it's kind of old news. You know, it'd obviously be huge, but I feel like there's other challengers at the heavyweight, so I feel like it'd be better for me if Usyk were to pick up another opponent.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, so Tyson Fury and Usyk, I don't really want to see that, but if it happens, it happens. It's going to be a big money fight. I also don't want to see him fight against Joseph Parker. Like, I don't want to give any discredit towards Joseph Parker, but I don't even think he's going to put up much of a worthy performance. I don't think he's going to do much to take the belt from Usyk.
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't really have anything against Parker, but I don't want to see that fight either. I'd rather see, I don't know, maybe a Caballel. Maybe that'd be a fun fight. You know, fuck it, throw Moses in there. I want to see an ass whip. I want to see a murder. Like, come on.
I saw someone say maybe we should put up Usyk and Deontay Wilder. It'd be such a funny matchup.
Wilder only needs one, man. He only needs one.
Yo, actually make the rematch Usyk against Chisora. Number 2, I mean, shit, man. Hey, people often say that Chisora gave Usyk the toughest fight of his career at heavyweight. So maybe he can fight those demons or those allegations and beat him more comfortably in the rematch. But no, realistically, I mean, it's very hard to see. I mean, pick who Usyk fights next. I guess we'll see in time. See how the division moves. But one thing's for sure right now, Usyk is undisputed once again. 3-time undisputed champion. What an accolade. And no doubt about it, the number 1 pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Now, do you guys want to talk about the Bam Rodriguez and Cafu briefly?
Like, I mean, I didn't really watch it too much because I hate when boxing does this. They stack all their fights on the same night. You know, we had 3 boxing cards on Saturday. Thankfully, Usyk and Dubois was in the UK, so that was a little earlier in the day. But, I mean, how do you expect us as boxing fans? Do you want us to have 2 screens, one having Pacquiao-Barrios, the other one having Bam Rodriguez? Like, obviously, I was watching the Pacquiao fight, not the Bam one, but... Listen, Bam did his thing, you know. Like, obviously, he's taking all the belts. He's unifying now. He's looking to go undisputed, and he's just continues to look better and better. I think he has to be like, he's definitely gonna go undisputed. Yeah. So he has to be. You have to start ranking him like very high on the pound for pound list.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he's already ranked within like the major the people who put out these fucking legitimate pound for pound rankings, and I feel like everyone has their own separate thing. I think ESPN has something different than what the Ring magazine has and whatnot, but I feel like overall though he's up there within the top 10. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's like 6 or 7.
I think he's like 7 or something like that. But listen, I mean, I think it's undoubted that he's gonna go undisputed. There's no one at that weight class that can stop him. So, I mean, I'll throw him a little higher, bro. Maybe 6'5". You know, he's doing some great things, and obviously he's gonna. Well, I believe he's gonna continue to go up in weight. So that's just gonna continue to bring more attention and more, you know, credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure they have Canelo as number 5, and I think.
No, so I'm looking at the Ring magazine, their official pound for pound. They have Bam at number 7, and they have Canelo at number 8.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why this guy is on the pound for pound ranking, and you know, the more he continues to fight, the more he continues to beat these guys, the more he continues to get all these belts from all these different people. Like, he's gonna for sure rise up. I wouldn't be surprised if he rises up to 118, and he's already like ranked within the top 5 within the pound for pound rankings. This guy is really good. I mean, he showed it Saturday. You know, funny enough though, Paulo and I were actually able to watch both of the fights, so we had both screens playing at the same time. And so yeah, man, I feel like you know, Bam was, or actually Cafu was doing a pretty good job of just hanging in there, you know, giving Bam a little bit of a difficulty, you know. But you know, Bam is such an intelligent fighter that he slowly broke him down. I feel like towards the second half of the fight, you know, I feel like Bam was actually bringing the intensity up. He was rising up. He was rising to the occasion. He was throwing a lot more punches, being a lot more aggressive, and I think slowly he's cornering Cafu. And yeah, I think it was that right hook that put him on shaky legs, and then the corner just stopped it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, Bam Rodriguez already has another fight scheduled for Rehab season in November against Fernando Daniel Martinez, aka Puma.
Well, firstly, isn't that just like so disrespectful? This guy was literally fighting against Cafu, and he's a world champion. And he already has another fight planned after him. That's crazy disrespectful, but listen, it's for the right reason. Bam is the best.
Well, Bam Rodriguez already has his next fight coming up, and we'll see how he does in November. But right now, for sure, Bam Rodriguez is top 10 pound for pound fighter on the planet, and he is a man on a mission to go undisputed at the 115 division. So we'll see what entails or what happens in November between Martinez Puma against Bam Rodriguez. But I think we covered everything we wanted to cover for today's episode. Let us know down below your thoughts on the Pacquiao-Barrios. Do you think that Barrios deserved the draw or maybe the win? Who do you think won? Do you think it was a lot of controversy? Pacquiao robbed? Also, let us know about Tim Tszyu. Do you think he may be washed? Do you think Fundora is the best fighter at 154? And let us know about Usyk. Is Usyk pound for pound best fighter on the planet? Top 5, maybe even top 3 greatest heavyweights of all time? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us on all forms of social media. We are on X, Instagram, and TikTok. There you go. Also, we're trying to build up a community on Discord, and you guys joining would be greatly appreciated. Now, this was Pablo, and I was Rudo and Asa, and this was the Last Round Podcast. Thank you for watching.